Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 48 of my Factorio Space Age Guide. So in the last episode, we created some green circuits. It's quite the small build, but it's pretty powerful because each of these machines is putting out 24 per second, and we maybe have a little bit of room to extend it if we needed more. We definitely need a lot because we plan on upcycling the stack inserters. There's other things that we need it for too, so we will need to be able to collect that at some point. So in this episode, we are... Oh, that is so close. So in this episode, we are going to be creating two builds. We're going to have red circuits and we are going to have blue circuits, or advanced circuits and processing units, whatever you want to call them. And we're not going to have... They're not going to be working for a while. So we're going to have plastic issues for quite a bit. We don't have the Yamako production to support having this plastic over here, and that's not a big deal. We will get there. A lot of the stuff is gobbling up, and then we're tossing some extra. So we are being a little wasteful, but that's okay because it's supplying us a lot of power, and that power is something that we can use to make builds like this, to have a little bit of extra power consumption with the beacons. You can see we are doing just fine on power. This is the spikes for making green circuits, I believe. Anyways, moving on to red circuits. So what do we need? Well, we need a foundry because we are going to have green circuits coming in and plastic coming in on their own lines. We need a foundry to make copper cables because, as we know, we've done this multiple times. We need copper cables, we need plastic, we need green circuits. And that will make us our red circuits. So, we're going to end up having this be 5 wide. And as for how these are going to get cables, we're just going to do something like this. We've done funky stuff in the past, and this is going to be one of those situations. We're going to have... the molten iron coming, or the molten copper coming in through here. Like that. And this will then be able to put out onto a belt there. This will be incoming copper cable. Snip the end. We have just enough room to squeak out what we need. So these two will come in. The plastic will branch off here. We've seen this a couple times. And then go under this one. Nope, under more. Whatever. Let's put this one down first. There. This will continue on, and this will curl back in. And this will be our plastic and green circuits. We will then have another line for the reds coming out and merge with the rest. Like that. We need incoming. And we need outgoing. So we're going to copy at least the top part and vertically flip it. And then this will be incoming for the two on top and outgoing for the product. Excuse me. There we go. Looks good to me. And then for power, we're just going to stamp that down right in the middle. Hey, look, they're already starting to chug along. Too bad they're not going to have plastic for quite a while. Not even like accidentally having some of these come through. Like we're really eating through all this. But like I said, that's okay, because in the next episode, we're going to be going to Novice and starting our biter egg collection. Okay, so for the next part, we're going to double up on this. And so the foundry is creating 19 per second, so we don't actually need 19 per second. We need 2.13 per building. So that's a little over 10 and a half. So we can actually just give this guy some productivity modules to slow him down a little bit, which will consume less of the copper or the molten copper. For the next piece though, it's so dark and I'm not using lights. We're going to, since this guy's going to be feeding both of these, just the base of 19.2 per second won't be enough. So we're just going to give this guy a speed module and fill the rest with productivity. 25.8 is plenty enough. 2.13 times 10 is 21.3. So this is definitely plenty enough to supply what we need. And we're basically going to just kind of do what we did over here. So I'm going to copy all of this. Well, except for the inserters. I'm going to vertically flip that and make sure that we have enough room for, what do I need, 2 belts? This is plastic, and then we need that. Okay. These are incoming and incoming. This is going to be an outgoing belt here. Outgoing from the top side and incoming to the bottom side. And if you've never seen my videos before, like when possible, I do try to keep these somewhat modular. So if we ever wanted to expand this more, this is how we would do that. We would just kind of, I mean, if I wanted to double this, I'd probably just copy all of this and paste it in. Or we might have to do some shifting to get this guy in here. Okay, and I believe that's it. That is our red circuit build. As for blue circuits, that's going to be quite a bit different. So we're going to need green circuits. Really? I know, this is going to be really weird because I'm like literally just... I don't know. I don't think we're going to need green circuits past this, so we can probably just accept that this is the end. Yep, let's just loop the red around. It is what it is. Okay, so actually the plastic we're definitely going to need. No, that's the red belt. We will definitely need a plastic because we will need it for LDS. And we'll probably do the LDS before we take off so that we have all of the rocket components, or at least in theory we have the rocket components able to be crafted. Again, once we get the biter stuff going, we will come back here and make sure that this is active. Okay, so that's plastic. This is red circuits. So for the blue circuits, so let's take a look. This one's going to be quite a bit different. So we need sulfuric acid, we need green circuits and red circuits, which we will have coming in over here. We need a lot of green circuits. Thankfully, we are producing a ton. And again, this can always be doubled up. I'd have to do some rearranging here, not a big deal. Or even just add in some more beacons. The hard part with this one is the sulfuric acid. So we don't need that much sulfuric acid. We need very, very little sulfuric acid. So this is going to be one exception where I'm using biochambers and not on the top side. I'm going to be using this on the bottom side. And we're going to use our little bot mall. Let me see. Where do I want to put this? Maybe. Thank you, autosave. Maybe a little bit lower. Sure. So I have this set up to ask what recipe we have and then what the item is, because for some reason this just doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't like having this as a parameter, and it just tries to make this set its parameter as the biosulfur recipe. Anyways, we're going to turn this off anyways because we're not going to be collecting any of this, and we're going to tell this inserter to blacklist sulfur. I know, a bot mall blacklisting sulfur. Well, we do need to have we do need to have the capacity for potential spoilage to be removed, even though yes, we are using spoilage in the recipe. You always want to have a backup plan just in case. So the sulfur will then go into a chemical plant. Something like this. The chemical plant will be making our sulfuric acid, and we need iron plates, we need sulfur obviously, and we need water. So water is not that big of a deal, but we don't really have it on the bus just yet. And actually I'm going to put it right in here if I can find my offshore pumps. Because this is landfill, and yeah, we have it nearby. Had I built this on the mainland, I would have had water coming in through here down the bus. That would have supplied a lot of the water that we needed for all of this, but thankfully, like I said, we built right on top of the water. Oh, also, if for some reason you were having landfill problems, I don't really see why you would. You can use a deconstruction planner to remove landfill and actually remove all the excess landfill if you want. It doesn't need the space. We don't need to be able to walk on it. And yeah, so that's one way of saving stuff. We're going to be using that technique in on Aquilo, I promise. Aquilo, we have to have concrete to be able to build on, and there is pretty much no way to make it. You have to import, you either have to import the stone to be able to make it from scratch, or you would just have to import the concrete. Anyways, we're going to add another one of these because the recipe needs 8 per second to make 80 per second, and these create 3 per second. And we're going to do the same thing that we did here, and we're going to turn this off. We just want it to be able to go wide open into this. This is all the sulfuric acid we need. And as a matter of fact, these two obviously don't create enough for this. We're making 6 per second. This needs 8 per second to make 80. So we're going to be making 60 sulfuric acid per second. But if we look at the machine, it only needs 1.6 per second. So we could make a ton of blue circuits off of just this one chemical plant. And keep in mind too, I'm using a blue quality chemical plant and EM plant. I'm not using blue quality of these just yet. I would like to get an upcycler going to make these, but you know, that's quite a task. Since you can make the biochambers in the biochamber, that's, you know, if you think setting up the bot mall was kind of funky, then a parameterized upcycler would be, I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so I'm going to have this line up exactly with this. And we are going to let the sulfuric acid come through. And we are going to have this be a whopping 6 wide, which is again going to give us just enough room to squeak by. I'm going to vertically flip every other so that these two both pair up together. And that is how we're going to get sulfuric acid in. As for the iron plates that we need, well, thankfully, we have foundries, and the foundry has the ability to make iron plate from molten iron. Hello, molten iron. All right, so we need power for these. Really? One of these days, they're going to fix that. Okay, so since we have this like crammed right up here, I'm going to copy this, and that means we're going to need 2 belts. One for incoming green circuits and red circuits, and one for outgoing blue circuits. Yes, and we have the green circuit stacked, so the quantity that we need is not an issue. Okay, so this is going to be incoming. This is going to be outgoing here. And then red inserter, we need outgoing on the top row and incoming on the bottom row. All right, and thankfully, because of the way we set this up, we can actually just copy this entire build and stamp it down. We're good to go. I'm not gonna worry about the excess. We'll leave just enough to, you know, remember that it's there. As for power, we have nice little openings in here. Could I actually set this whole thing up? I could. Hold on. We're gonna... One each is way better. Okay, so that is our red circuits. That's our blue circuits. That's our green circuits. We are also going to be collecting quite a bit of this stuff because we're going to need a lot. I mean, we don't need 4 full chests, but you know what? Why not? Oh, come on. So close. Do I really want to move? I don't want to move this over. Okay. that is... How did this not work out? Oh, because the splitter. Okay. And... Ooh, it is so close. $504. That's it? Okay, so that is going to be it for me for this episode. Nice little short one. Got 2 builds out of the way. Relatively easy. So in the next episode, we're going to be making some LDS. That way we can have the last of the rocket components being created. And then we are going to, well, we're not going to set up a different rocket section just yet. These are supplying our Gleba science. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to just queue up some more science. No. I'm going to get quality going because I would like to kind of show you what happens with our upcyclers once quality kind of like kicks over. It's going to be really awesome. Okay, so yeah, that's it for me for this episode. I will see you in the next episode when we're heading back to Novice for the first time since we left. We haven't been back yet, but we're going back next episode. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.